morning. Thank you all for taking the time to come out to this event. On behalf of the California Community College Chancellor's Office and our partner, Foothill-De Anza Community College District, I'd like to welcome you all. I'd like to welcome you all to what promises to be an extraordinary gathering of minds and talent and expertise representing the amazingness of our system. We're going to gather here to launch our second annual California Community Colleges Future Summit, Education in the Digital Era. So over the past 2 days, we've already gathered a remarkable group of system-wide leaders in a series of transformative events, including a strategic planning retreat for our newly minted AI fellows. Where are my fellows at? Fellows in the house? An AI pre-conference, which brought together leadership across multiple divisions in the very slightly uncomfortable and challenging environment of an unconference. Slightly unscripted, and I know for all of us educators who tend to be a little bit type A, we need to have structure. But unconferences are all about a lack of structure and bringing your best ideas to the table and moving those ideas forward. We also had our Digital Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Equity Advisory meeting, which is our 8 founding partner districts, 16 colleges, and our CEOs who are leading that effort to really be at the forefront of innovation for our system going forward in this new era of AI and digital education. For many, this is their first opportunity to experience, and for others, this was their first opportunity to experience the alien zoo environment, an immersive environment from Dreamscape Learning. These gatherings represent the extensive thought leadership taking place, not just this week, but throughout our entire system, as we collectively navigate this pivotal moment in education innovation. Thank you all for being here this week. Every voice in this room matters. Whether you're energized by AI's transformative potential or deeply concerned about its implications, we do not shy away from those two, that juxtaposition. For equity and access, if that's what your focus is, we must lean into this critical perspective. All of these viewpoints are essential to our collective work as a system. We've intentionally brought together educators who've been experimenting with AI tools alongside those who are just beginning to explore what this technology means for our students, for our families, and for our communities. We have administrators reimagining institutional systems and faculty protecting the pedagogical practices that have served our diverse learners for generations. We have students who are digital natives and those returning to education after decades away. Classified professional members who are pioneering new support systems and community partners asking crucial questions about who benefits from technological change. To our AI optimists, your enthusiasm and forward-thinking vision will help us explore this transformative potential of artificial intelligence in education and beyond. To those who approach these technologies with healthy skepticism, your critical perspectives ensure we move thoughtfully and responsibly into the future. Now, I know that so much of the impact and ideation will take place in the hallways as you navigate between your breakout sessions, and that this other tiny little AI conference down the hall, there's that little event, right? Don't worry about that, we're good. So today, we will gather not just as observers of change, but as active participants in shaping it. Whether you see yourselves as a digital native or someone still finding your footing with new technologies, you are all futures activators, individuals with the power to influence how AI integration unfolds in our educational communities. California community colleges serve students from all walks of life with diverse experiences ages, and technological backgrounds. This diversity is our strength as we navigate this AI revolution together. Today's discussions will bridge the gap between cutting-edge possibility, practical implementation, ensuring that the future we're building is inclusive, thoughtful, and serves the needs of all learners. And throughout this summit, you will witness exciting partnerships forming across institutions and sectors, engage in critical discussions that challenge contradictory assumptions about AI's role in education, and participate in the planting of seeds for new and exciting ideas that will shape our collective future. These conversations will push beyond surface-level adoption to explore deep questions about pedagogy, equity, workforce, and the very nature of learning in an AI-enhanced world. So let's embrace both excitement and caution, innovation and wisdom as we explore AI, how AI can enhance, not replace, the human connections that make education meaningful. So welcome, future shapers. Let's begin. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, a visionary leader who brings both strategic insight and deep commitment to educational innovation. Principal founding partner of the Digital Center Foothill-De Anza Community College District Chancellor, Lambert. Please join me in welcoming
Good morning. Welcome to our second annual Future Summit. This is a collaboration among the State Chancellor's Office, FHDA, and our founding partner districts. I am the digital twin of Lambert, the Chancellor of Foothill-De Anza Community College. I would like to showcase for you the power of this conference in sharing the great digital transformation work occurring across the state by highlighting the Digital Twin project at my district. By building a digital version of me, we are not simply creating a visual replica. We are creating a bridge between human leadership and digital interactivity that will open new possibilities using AI technology. Without further ado, let's take a look at our Digital Twin pilot project done by our talented faculty, administrators, and staff.
Hello, everyone. I am a virtual twin, apparently some sort of cyberpunk virtual twin of computer science instructor Lane Johnson. And I am here to introduce you to Tess. That's short for Teacher Support Specialist. Tess, are you there?
Hey, Tess here at the ready. What's up?
Will you please introduce yourself and tell all these fine folk here about what it is you do?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Tess, the virtual teaching assistant for Lane's CS courses at Foothill College. Students may chat with me 24/7, and my mission is to not only answer logistics questions, but to help guide students through programming and computer science concepts, all while promoting independent problem solving and belonging in computer science and STEM. Let's do this.
Right on. Thank you for your support, Tess. Let's do this.
I've uploaded all the documentation to my agent so that my agent can be a valuable resource to students. Hi, I'm Eric. How can I help you? How can I print a histogram in Python? To print a histogram in Python using the data science package, you can utilize the table class. First, ensure you have your data in a table format. Then use the heist method to generate a histogram. Here's a basic example. Python from data science. Import table number sample data equals table size with columns and values 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. Plotting the histogram data, values.
Hi, I'm Lumi, your friendly 2025 Google Case Competition Advisor. How can I help you get connected with the case competition?
Hi, Lumi. Could you please provide me additional information about the Foothill 2025 Foothill Google Case Competition and how it's structured?
Absolutely. The 2025 Foothill College Case Competition, co-sponsored by Google, allows students to form teams of 3 to 5 to tackle a real-world business problem. The competition consists of multiple rounds, including preliminary submissions, feedback sessions, and final presentations. You'll get to learn from Google professionals and receive valuable feedback throughout the process. To get started, I recommend attending the info session on October 8th and marking your calendar for the kickoff on October 13th. Would you like to join the interest list for updates?
Hi, I'm Isaac Newton's digital twin. Let me know if you have any physics questions.
Yes, hi. I'm not sure how 2D kinematics works. I have a bit of trouble understanding what times to use, like what equation.
It's great that you're seeking clarity. How do you think 2D kinematics differs from 1D kinematics? What concepts do you already understand about motion in one dimension?
I understand that in 2D, you have to account for both the vertical and the horizontal component of velocity, for example.
That's a great start. Can you explain how you would break down the motion into horizontal and vertical components?
Arya, could you please tell me what is a lipid bilayer and what it's made of?
The lipid bilayer is a fundamental component of cell membranes. It's made of 2 layers of phospholipids. Each phospholipid has a hydrophilic, water-attracting head and 2 hydrophobic, water-repelling tails. How do you think this structure affects the function of cell membranes?
How would you just on the last note, like, instead of interacting just with like a GPT chatbot, like, do you find this more appealing from a user perspective? I mean, it's not all the way there yet, but you know where it could go.
I think it makes it more personalized. It felt like like I had a more personal connection with the avatar, like just seeing a face, I guess.
I really like the human touch. Some of the avatars, they had accent with me. It felt more personal. And also the idea that it's not only the model is not only replying to your questions, but also prompts you to think and ask like relevant questions. It's really, I feel like it's very, very useful for me.
That's it for now. I hope you enjoy our pilot project experiment. The Digital Twin Project opens the door to many possibilities like faculty avatars for remote tutoring, AI-driven orientation assistance, multilingual virtual...
The faculty, staff, and administrators under the leadership of President Whalen at Foothill College and President Torres at Anza, please stand and give a hand to these folks. Obviously, you just saw my digital twin and what the promise of one aspect of AI can do for our entire system of community colleges in California and really across the nation. So if you're interested in learning more, please attend this afternoon's digital twin session. But let's remember, we've been here before. When Gutenberg introduced the printing press in the 15th century, it didn't just change how books were made, it democratized knowledge. For the first time, learning could spread beyond monasteries and elites into the hands of everyday people. In the same way, AI has the potential to democratize education for our time, expanding access, personalized learning, and accelerating discovery. But just like the printing press, its true power won't come from the technology alone. It will come from how we choose to use it with equity, ethics, and human purpose at the center. And that brings us to why we're here at the 2025 Future Summit. So not long ago, after a workforce event, a group of students came up to me with a simple but profound question. Will my education be relevant? That question cuts to the heart of why we're here. Because the answer can't just be yes. The answer must be your education will not only be relevant, it will be life-changing, future-shaping, and world-defining. But here's the truth. That won't happen on its own. AI doesn't matter without the people and the infrastructure to support it. Cars needed roads, electricity needed power grids, and today AI needs both human wisdom and institutional courage. We are the ones who will build those roads beneath the cars. We are the ones who will ensure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around. Think about what that means. Over 2 million students across 116 colleges turning to us, not just for skills, but for hope. They are the reason we exist. They are the reason we innovate. The future is not something that happens to us. The future is something we build deliberately, together, and with purpose. That's what this summit is about. It's not just anticipating what's next, but designing it. Not just watching change unfold, but leading it with courage, with imagination, and with heart. So let's not only look to the future, let's create it. Let's build it. Let's make sure that decades from now, people look back at this moment, the Future Summit of 2025, and say, this is where we chose to lead, this is where we built the roads, and this is where we set the course. So thank you. It is now my honor to introduce a leader who has dedicated her career to expanding opportunity and transforming lives through education, Chancellor Sonya Christian. Her commitment to equity, collaboration, and student success has guided the California community colleges into a new, bold era with vision and collective action. Through the California Community Colleges Digital Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Equity, a powerful partnership between the Chancellor's Office and Foothill-De Anza and our founding districts, Chancellor Christian is leading system-wide change with both vision and heart. The center is already modernizing how we support teaching and learning, accelerating innovation, and ensuring every advance serves our students and our communities, with equity at the center. So I am inspired by her leadership and grateful for the collaboration that is shaping the future of higher education in California. So let's, again, give a hand to her. Sonya, a year ago, almost to the date, we were up here on a similar stage, but at De Anza College, one of the two colleges of the Foothill-De Anza Community College District, to launch not only the Future Summit, but to announce the creation of a new digital center. So, what are your thoughts?
My goodness me, I'm still thinking about the digital twins. Right? Yeah, I'm hoping that Foothill-De Anza and Chancellor Lambert is going to have a hands-on exercise for all of us to walk out of this conference with a digital twin, right? How many of you are up for that? So, I mean, it's amazing. All of you, go ahead and block your calendars. It's either the first or the second week in September. Every year, we're committing to you that we'll come back to have the Future Summit. Let me just recognize a few people who kind of set the stage for it. I see our Board of Governors here, so please stand up, members of the Board of Governors. I see our Vice President, Bill Rollins here. I see our Permanent President, campaign. I thought I saw Tom Edstein rushing on the phone earlier. Tom, are you there? Okay, go ahead, yes. I also want to recognize the Foundation for California Community Colleges. In fact, the Board of Directors had a meeting here yesterday. So Foundation and Board of Directors, please stand up and be recognized. I know Lee was asking me to talk about, what has been happening since the 2024 Future Summit, but the reality is, colleagues, that the Digital Center is being led by this gentleman to my left. Okay, not only is he trying to figure out, we were talking behind the stage before the event, and he was telling me how he's figuring out student housing for the students at Foothill-De Anza, and at the same time, he's helping us with his statewide project at the Digital Center. So, Lee, what's been happening, for the last year?
See, that's unfair, Sonya. But let me start out first. I want to recognize two of our board members are here, Pearl Chang and Laura Casas, if you could stand. When I went to the board to say we wanted to enter into this partnership, there was no hesitation. All five of them, absolutely, because they have set a chart for Foothill-De Anza to reimagine the future of higher education, especially here in the Silicon Valley. So let me start there. Also, I want to recognize our founding partners. I can't see you all. I know Chancellors Marino, Barnes, Yamamura, and Martinez are in the audience. So if you could stand and please get a hand.
I saw that.
We can't do this without our founding partners. And then, but it also takes a team to make this happen as well, right? So under the leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Jory Hatzel, that he's forming this incredible team to power the center. So Jory and all of the staff associated with the Digital Center, if you could stand, if we can give them a hand, please. In addition to Jory, I also want to recognize two very special people because we wouldn't be up here today without them, and that's Anu Khanna and Dennis Chima. We're also part of the planning team along with Jory Hatzel. This is a very bold vision that Sonya was thinking of, and so when I got here to California, I was in Arizona for 10 years. I'm from Seattle. And go Seahawks. Even though we can see the 49ers stadium right across the way. I'll forgive you. So Sonya said, Lee, I know you were doing some special things over in Arizona. So what about if we could partner on something very exciting? Not only a future summit to disseminate the great work happening across the state of California in this digital transformation era, but what if we go one step further and create a digital center? So I want to thank you for your vision and your leadership and the partnership we have forged together.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. Since it's kind of a conversation of recognitions, I too want to add in a few more folks. So the Chancellor's Office team, could all of you stand up and be recognized? Please stand up. And as you're standing up, we have our of course, from Daves-Rougeaux, we have our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, James Dodd. We have our Deputy Chancellor, Robina Tamanang. We have Chris Ferguson. We have our CPL lead, Sam Lee. We have, oh my gosh, we have a Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Stacey Shearer. So the whole Chancellor's office is here. And the reason I'm introducing you to them is throughout the 2 days, please find them and talk about your ideas, because our job is to really support you and to kind of coordinate. Thank you very much. This one more person I want to recognize, Stuart Knox, where are you? Oh, he's backstage. You're going to hear from him, but he's been like phenomenal coordinating with the governor's office and, get that. Should we kind of move into
Yes, you have something exciting to share with us.
So you may have been seeing kind of the news items, the governor's totally into connecting the innovation of California, the AI innovation with higher ed. And guess what? I mean, we're already there, right? The community colleges. So there have been lots of agreements that he has been facilitating with our industry partners. So we had invited him to this meeting. They tried to make it work. Of course they couldn't. So he's got a 2-minute hello to all of you. So let's go ahead and hear from Governor Gavin Newsom.
Another tech revolution. And how we approach this will determine much of our future, from our education systems to our economy to our very well-being. This year, California launched, after years of hard work, our master plan for career education, which focuses on real-world experience, matching skills learned in the evolving job market so students can hit the ground running after graduation. That means teaching them how to harness new technology while promoting critical thinking skills, protecting their safety, their security, and privacy. Our community colleges are developing new AI and data analytics tools and training faculty to deliver cutting-edge technical education. Right now, this program is being piloted in 20 colleges across our state. But we're not doing this in a vacuum. We're working directly with industry itself, taking advantage of our direct access to world-class companies right here in California. The state, community colleges, the CSUs are collaborating with some of the most iconic companies like Google and IBM, Adobe, and Microsoft.
Hi again. So my job at the Future Summit as the Chancellor of the California Community Colleges is to give the state of AI in the California Community Colleges. And Don said you've got 35 minutes. So when I was listening to both Don and Lee Lambert, I felt, my goodness, they did the state of AI in California Community Colleges, so I can just say ditto and step away. So let's give it up for Governor Gavin Newsom one more time. I, for one, am really deeply grateful for all of his support in advancing the work of the California Community Colleges. He also makes sure that we are funded to do the work of innovation. Last year, the budgets were tough, and we came out doing pretty well, and all thanks to the administration and the legislature. So the state of AI, typically we'll do a look back and a look forward. So Chancellor Lambert mentioned 1 year ago, we were at Anza College as we launched the California Community Colleges Futures Summit. We were talking about chatbots, first-generation tools, and cautious experiments. It has been a lifetime already, right? The other day, I saw a job posting that said, candidates must show AI literacy with examples. Every few weeks, new AI models leapfrog the last, and they're getting more powerful and more human-like every day. We saw the digital twins, right? And have you started saying please and thank you to your AI tool? So last year we were experimenting. This year we are meeting the moment, full throttle. And I can't wait to show you how we're stepping into the AI-enabled present while creating and predicting the AI-enabled future. So let's start with any state of the system by looking at 2 years ago from a single board action in September 2023 that called out generative AI and the future of teaching and learning as one of the 3 strategic directions. I would say that we were probably the first system to step out there in 2023. And this launched an AI learning movement that has reached every corner of the state. Webinar series range from humanizing AI to assessment in the age of AI, to synthetic media and misinformation, and accessibility first design. The Board of Governors included AI education in nearly every meeting so that policy would be guided by facts, not headlines. An AI council with faculty, administrators, classified staff, and students was established so that the work was steered by people close to the learners, and Craig Hayward has been leading and coordinating that work. In July 2024, the Board of Governors was presented the Humans, HUMANS framework for responsible AI. H stands for human-centered approach, U for universal design, M for managed privacy and controls, that is to give people the agency of how their personal data is collected and used. So going back to the acronym, A stands for algorithmic discrimination protections, and thank you Safia Noble for that. N for notice and explanation, and this provides sufficient notification about the use of automated systems. And S for safety and security. Talk about responsible AI use, right? We are leading the way. If the acronym sounds like it was invented by people who love acronyms, it was. My hope, dear colleagues, is that every district, similar to the Board of Governors, every district's Board of Trustees would adopt the Humans framework or something similar. So this way we signal to California where our values are. The governing board sort of putting out a statement, a bold statement. Also, in July 2024, the board authorized the Digital Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Equity that both Dawn and Lee mentioned, and then, of course, with the partnership of Chancellor Lambert and Foothill-De Anza. So, like any startup, it began with a lot of talent, but very little capital. High on conviction, short on certainty. Early days were messy, and they still are messy. Questions outpace answers. Roles and responsibilities blur. Progress sometimes seems 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So this is why I'm so very grateful to our founding partners who, working with Foothill-De Anza, have really stood resolutely with the Chancellor's Office and with the Board of Governors. You put in your time, your talent, and your resources to make this happen statewide. So utmost gratitude to you. Together, we have scaled fraud enrollment prevention to protect students in colleges with our work with End-to-End. We have launched faculty pilots with PlayLab, a partnership with UC Berkeley, and you're going to hear from Meredith Lee later. Nectar AI to test real classroom use cases. We launched the Mainstay Cali project, the AWS summer camp. 1,300 students applied for 100 seats. So we've got to scale that up. We have strengthened the California virtual campus so quality online learning is more accessible and reliable. And by the way, I attended the unconference yesterday, and the gentleman who was describing the CBC was actually talking about how there is AI getting embedded within the infrastructure, and I was super excited about the thoughtfulness behind that. We have expanded our At One professional training so educators teach confidently in an AI-enabled world. We began a Dreamscape Learn pilot to bring immersive learning experiences into biology online classes, and this is to improve access and success. We launched the AI Faculty Fellows program that was mentioned earlier, and we're also expanding the Common Cloud Data Platform project, working with Coast Community College. You see, colleagues, none of this arrived fully formed. Through collaboration with our districts, through collaborations with the state, through collaboration with our industry partners, step by step, we turn early experiments into proven practices, and proven practices into the new normal for our students and our communities. As the governor mentioned in his opening remarks, we did partner in a series of MOUs with NVIDIA, Adobe, Google, IBM, Microsoft, to name a few, to bring enterprise-grade tools into the classroom with guardrails, so students train on the systems they will use at work. And again, appreciate some preliminary funding from the governor's office. Thank you to Stuart Knox. So across the state, okay, demonstration projects are testing ideas and evaluating outcomes. And I, for one, am extremely proud of the way we've been doing this work as a public system that learns in public, shares our work, what works, what doesn't, keeping people always at the center. Go ahead. That may have been someone dropping something. I'll take it whenever I can get it, right? So, professional development that respects time and talent of our people. You're going to hear the words people a lot in my remarks. Infrastructure that makes innovation safe for our people. And principles that turn values into daily decisions. It's the work of a system that refuses to have to choose between innovation and inclusion, between speed and safety, between today's needs and tomorrow's possibilities. It is always a both and proposition for the California community colleges. This is how we roll. This is California at its very best, and we are just getting started. That was just the past, okay? I've still got to go into the future, right? So the early Salesforce pilot investment in Gen Z learning confirmed what we're hearing everywhere. Students want hands-on AI learning. Students asked, what does AI mean for my major, for my job search, for my first 90 days at work? What did we do? We responded. So we responded by crafting our work for the next 2 years, focused in 3 categories. Centering students, 2, workforce development, 3, AI literacy. So let me start with category 1, which is centering students in the development of this work. The future is for students, and it must be built with students. In our foundation, the Student Design Lab will pressure test new technologies before they scale. Students setting the bar for usability, students setting the bar for privacy and accessibility. We will launch a Student Fellows program this year. Our students will not be spectators, they will be co-builders. We will test with them, we will build with them, and we will publish with them. So category 2 is workforce development. If you see our Vice Chancellor Tony Cordova, stop him, have a conversation. We're doing a lot in this space. It's an important priority for our Board of Governors. So in workforce development, AI is reshaping every sector, whether it's healthcare, logistics, agriculture, energy, creative media, public services, and more, right? I mean, we're seeing it. Work is becoming human-AI teaming. People using intelligent tools to solve problems faster, safer, and more creatively. Our charge as California community colleges is to stay tightly connected to workers and to stay tightly connected to industry so that our programs anticipate demand, not chase it. So in the workforce category, we are attentive at the Chancellor's office to 3 strategies. 1, deep industry connections. Vision 2030 calls on community colleges to be at the research and development tables. When our faculty are integrated into the projects and labs with industry partners, curriculum stays current. But you know, the flow is really, it runs both ways. Because faculty in turn will bring the values of the California community colleges to guide the development of these emerging tools. 2, student internships must be a norm, not a favor. So we are committing in 2 years, we will move beyond ad hoc placement into a policy framework that makes paid credit-bearing internships a standard. Think about it. This allows students to build an industry network. They build confidence. And what a seamless pathway from academia to the workforce. So moving to point number 3, or strategy number 3, we are committed to accelerating attainment through credit for prior learning. Evaluating industry certification from cloud and cybersecurity to advanced manufacturing, GIS, and healthcare analytics, and mapping them into stackable pathways from certificates to associate degrees to baccalaureate degrees, including the community college bachelor's degree. When it comes to economic development and workforce development, this is California's competitive edge. The 116 community colleges acting as one adaptive engine for workforce talent. So now I'm going to move into category number 3, which is AI literacy. And for our faculty in the audience and our instructional folks, this one is for you, okay? So change at the speed and at the scale brings risks. New tools create weak points to our civic fabric. Deep fake blurs reality, what's true and what is not. High compute models strain energy and water resources. What our community needs are resilient skills and habits. This is where we step in, right? The California community colleges will pursue an AI literacy for all agenda. AI literacy for all agenda for our community and for our students. I would probably start with 2 durable skills, because we kind of throw out the word AI literacy out there, but what do we really mean by it, right? So I would say 2 durable skills, prompting and verifying. Prompting has caught on, right? You prompt into your LLM. But verifying is even more important. It is a habit that will combat misinformation. Using the 2-source rule from your web of trusted sources. So for example, if AI reports an earthquake, what should we do? We should immediately check the USGS and a second trusted outlet. AI literacy has become a basic literacy, for whether it's for economic mobility, but it goes beyond that. It is for civil society and for the daily work of democracy. So you might be thinking, okay, that's kind of a pie-in-the-sky idea, right? We have 39 million Californians, and how do we do it? So I have a proposal. What if we used an AI-focused College Core program to reach out into our communities? In fact, our Board of Governors in Vision 2030 Refresh really doubled down on Service Corps and College Core. Students, College Core students, will lead workshops across our communities, and we will do it at scale. And how can we do it? Because of our 116 community colleges. okay? And that's the bigger message that I've been sort of giving the legislature, to tap into the asset of community colleges. You have $19 billion that you've invested. Now tap into it for what we need to do in the future. So I talked about the community. Now let's go into the subset of our community, our very own students, right? The AI Council defined, in addition to those two, they defined 6 learning outcomes for AI literacy that was presented to the Board of Governors. And since then, a smaller group working with Craig sort of tinkered with these 6 outcomes and organized it with letters, another acronym, that spells people, right? So it's an easy way to remember the 6 learning outcomes. So P, let's spell people, right? P for prompt with purpose. E, ethics first. O, observe and verify. P, it is a processor, not a person. L, learn the fundamentals. E, evolve continuously, because AI is evolving. So now, faculty in the room, I wonder what it would look like if we embedded AI learning outcomes with the same care we bring to writing and to quantitative reasoning. I've got 3 more to go. So I wonder, what would a general education outcome say? Could it say, all students graduating from a California community college will prompt thoughtfully, verify with at least 2 independent sources, and apply AI ethically and transparently in academic work? Could we have AI integrated into every program of study at the California community colleges? And this is my last one. I wonder, as agentic AI evolves, might every student be prepared to lead a team of AI agents, from prompt to verification to results? I said the phrase, agentic AI. So I've got to go there, right? So you're going to have someone who's not a computer science major. I was sort of talking to our AI fellows, kind of brief me on it before I stand up in front of an audience and sort of put out my thinking around agentic AI. So here I go. Bear with me. This is Sonya's reality of agentic AI. In the field of computer science, the term agent describes a system that acts autonomously to achieve a set of predefined goals. So did we have agents before AI, before LLMs, large language models? The answer is yes, we did. Systems that react, monitor, and maintain. As simple as your thermostat, and as complicated as the autonomous vehicles, the cars that are like rushing around in San Francisco, or the spacecrafts, right? I remember in early 2000s, a friend of mine worked at JPL. And I remember him talking about agents and describing that they autonomously planned and executed operations without human intervention. I remember him talking about autonomous detection of anomalies. They were able to diagnose problems, and they replanned on the fly. They used symbolic reasoning, planning, and reactive control systems. So now you take agents and you build AI on top of it. So this concept of integrating advanced AI capabilities, such as the LLMs, yes. We can't sit this one out. Okay, we really can't sit this one out. Agentic AI development is moving fast. It's not going to disappear if we ignore it. It will simply be built without us. So we educators must be at the table, and that's been my consistent call ever since I took over as Chancellor, is asking for engagement. Perhaps we could consider launching a few demonstration projects in this space. Are you up for it, AI fellows? Yeah. I would personally value one focused on our own staff, like those, our classified staff, our directors, who are carrying a lot of the work of our colleges. A project that would bring in HR and bring in IT together to design cutting-edge professional development around human AI teaming. And I would love to make the California community colleges a model on how this is done right, where technology enhances and not replaces human capacity. I want to be able to put the model out there and how we're able to do it. That our people are prepared, our people are supported, and our people are inspired to lead in this new times. Having said that, the actual AI agent that I worked with, that I picked to describe to you today, is one related to supporting students, because that's our unifier, right? We're here because of our students. So our student affairs folks in the room, this one is for you. So imagine your new agent, navigator agent, who is going to support working with adult students with minimal friction and with high personalization. What I want you to look at in terms of the architecture of an AI agent as opposed to an LLM, there are 5 components that go into the architecture of the agent. Number 1, the large language model provides the reasoning and the communication. That's your Claude or your ChatGPT, your Gemini, right? The second is the planner, which takes a high-level goal and then breaks it into clear and actionable steps. The third component is the memory, because the agent keeps track of the past, the student's goals, and then the progress that they want to make, so that the experience for the student is continuous and not fragmented. The fourth component is that this AI agent not only is working with an LLM, but also with our other systems, like the Common Cloud, the SIS, the Canvas, Program Pathways Mapper, Credit for Prior Learning, the MAP platform. And this way it brings information that is relevant to the student's life in a California community college. And at the heart of the design is the 5th component. And the 5th component is what, in my mind, makes it an agent, the autonomous, like the autonomous loop, right? The agent is able to trigger actions based on real-time events without the human having to prompt, okay? So what I want to do next is to really give you 2 examples that compares an agent as opposed to interacting with an LLM. When you look at financial aid, for example, if a student wants to know the eligibility for financial aid, the student would need to prompt an LLM to get a response. But an agent that is trained will automatically be checking for eligibility and could, my hope, is eventually draft a FAFSA application. And even make virtual appointments with a financial aid advisor, right? Keeping that human in the loop, which is like core, it's a core principle that we all need to get behind. So let's look at another example. Let's say a student stops working on Canvas and kind of disappears for 7 days, right? What would a standard LLM do? You need to prompt the standard LLM for a conversation. But an agent, on the other hand, would be tracking this already and saying, oh, the student is not active in Canvas, would send a nudge to the student, could send a personalized message to the counselor, again, the human in the loop. So the use of AI agents could be helpful in meeting our Vision 2030 goals of taking college to the 6.8 million low-income working Californians. This is doing work at a grand scale, right? So it is possible as long as we do it right. So this is the kind of student-centered design, human-centered design at scale that moves us beyond conversation into real, meaningful support. much to do, right? And our own professional development is like up there. We've got to keep up. We've got to make time and put resources in professional development for everyone, for CEOs, for faculty, staff, everyone, so we can support our students and our communities. So, as I wrap up, you can see, my dear colleagues, that the California community colleges are fully engaging. We are alert, and we are steady in our values that centers the student. We are steady in our values of data security and data privacy. We are confident that we are grounded in the well-being of our students, our workers, our industries, our communities, and our planet. This is our work. It is our work to equip people with tools, but more importantly, to equip them with confidence. This is our work to ensure that AI serves people, not the other way around. Done right, I believe AI can be equity in access. Done right, I believe that AI could be equity in success. And done right, I believe AI can be equity in support. And I have full confidence and absolute confidence that the California community colleges will do it right. We always do. And our time is now. Thank you so much for being here.
And I want to say a huge appreciation and thank you not only to the board here, but also to Chancellor Christian for allowing us the opportunity to talk a little bit about how we see the opportunity for AI, generative AI in the education context. You know, I thought at Google we are like, you know, the masters of acronyms, but I quickly found out that we're not. And if I need some help moving forward on who to get some acronym advice, I'm going to come to this group. But I did want to acknowledge the human framework. That was really impressive. I want to say thank you for describing that. We actually have aligned mission and goals there because we think about this moment that we're in. It's definitely one of the most transformative moments we'll see in our lifetimes. However, at Google, we think about that opportunity through two lenses. Being bold, we want to push the frontier of what these models can do, but also we need to be responsible. And I heard that through Chancellor Christian's comments, and I just wanted to share that we're very focused on that as well. Having said that, in my role, I get to go around the world and talk about how education, Gen AI is impacting the education opportunity here. And I can tell you, this energy in this crowd, I can't believe it's the only second one you've had. Because I was like, this is like, you must be doing this thing for 25 years. The energy is pretty impressive. And I can tell there's a strong passion for, and obviously sometimes anxiety for embracing what's to come. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing us a few minutes to talk about what we're doing here. Thank you for your engagement as well. So let's have a little bit of fun over the next few minutes and talk about what Google's doing. Oh, maybe if you roll that video backstage, that'd be great. No? We can make a car drive by itself, but I can't yet play a video. There we go.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
What does this remind you of? Schrodinger's cat. Wow. Wow. Okay. When all of these tools come together, it's a powerful combination.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's an entire suite of different kind of possibilities.
Hi, I'm Gemini. What neighborhood do you think I'm in? This appears to be the King's Cross area of London.
Together, we're creating a new era. Okay, so we are in a Gemini era, as you just noticed, but that's what your students are showing up seeing. A lot of those, obviously, were consumer experiences, but this is how they are perceiving this technology through the lens of right now. But we also are excited because you're not alone. There's over 1,000 U.S. higher education colleges and institutions that are adopting both Gemini Education and Notebook LM into their curriculum on a daily basis. And that kind of translates to 10 million, this past fall, 10 million students went back to school and now have access to Gemini for Education and Notebook LM. Yeah, thank you. The core reason why universities and colleges are turning to Google is because I just mentioned bold and responsible, but this is on our industry-leading Gemini 2.5 model that is grounded on a different model called LearnLM. And that takes directly pedagogy into the large language model. It's not the generic model that you would use, with a really focus on guiding that learning experience. We are excited to announce as well that we are making this model free to all 116 colleges. 2.1 million students will have access to Gemini for Education, Notebook LM, Google Career Certificates, and AI training at no cost. This is our best model as well. This is 2.5 Pro, so you're going to get the best model. And it's a really important thing for us here because we also think this technology is only as good as access and equity. So we are really committed to making sure that this is an equitable experience. So we are now at 12.1. We're revising it as we speak. We still need to make sure that these are going to roll out in an effective way and make sure it's part of your professional development program. But we're going to work hard with you over the coming weeks, months, starting today to make sure that you understand how to adopt these solutions. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what these are. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of how I'm using these solutions and these tools in my daily life. Hopefully that's going to spark definitely some interest. I actually looked at the agenda for the next 2 days. It's phenomenal. By no means is this an instruction on how to incorporate these tools into your learning experiences. This is only just an idea creation. Hopefully over the next few days, once you start to go through your workshops, you'll say, hey, maybe I can use that, or maybe I can use that. Okay, so I mentioned we're providing 2 solutions for you at no cost. The first one is Gemini for Education. So this is our standard best-in-class model. This is accessed through gemini.google.com. And so this is where you would get kind of your normal prompt-based answers. Also where you're going to access some of our video and image generation tools. And then also where you're going to access some of our deep research tools. The second one is Notebook LM, which is just a powerful tool for students. How many people have actually heard or used Notebook LM? Great, thank you. So the purpose of this is for you to allow you to ground your own data on the model. So it's only going to use the data that you use or upload, and that's going to be the foundation of the large language model. So let's start with Gemini for Education. Okay, I know this might be confusing. This is Gemini Canvas, not to be confused with Canvas LMS tool. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you go to the Gemini tool, down at the bottom there's a tab or a pill. You can click on Canvas. This puts you in our coding mode. So here you can generate on the fly idea creation, turn it into websites, turn it into applications, turn it into games. Really a strong creation tool for me to take an ideation into a consumption type of web page or application. Deep research. Anybody played around with deep research? So this is like having a personal consultant right on your shoulder. I actually have a senior in high school right now. She's trying to research colleges and universities. And you know, she's got tabs and spreadsheets and all this sort of stuff. And what we actually did is we took in natural language processing just how she would talk
what she's interested in a college and university, plugged it into deep research, and not only the normal things like, can I get into this school, what's my GPA, how much does it cost, location, but also things like community, friendship, what's the sentiment from other students. It goes out, it does a research project, it takes about 15 minutes, it's going to scour the web, pull back a very long, detailed research project on now she can engage with. You can do other things with that tool as well, but really great tool here that again is going to be available for you at no cost. Okay, we just recently announced as well guided learning. Guided learning is another tab you would click at the bottom of Gemini. And so if you look at this on the slide, on the left, most of these models are really great at answering questions, but they don't necessarily get to the what and the how behind how they got to that. So guided learning is a mode that you would put yourself into, and then it actually starts to give you a step-by-step breakdown on the answer, but not only that, the how and the why, making sure you're picking up on core pieces of information to really learn the concept. So guided learning is a new solution that just rolled out a few weeks ago. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Notebook LM. Notebook LM is my favorite tool. Sounds like it's many of yours as well. But just a phenomenal product and solution for I think students in terms of learning how they want to learn. So what is it? You take any piece of creative that you want and throw it into Notebook LM. So this could be Google Docs, it could be Google Slides, videos, it could be web URLs, it could be PDFs, it could be text, images, whatever you want. You throw it in when you create a notebook. You would name it, maybe it's History 101. And now you have your grounded model based on the information that you loaded. So you can do like study guides, FAQs, summaries, those sorts of things. It's a great tool for you to take a lot of information, put it in, and then start kind of getting very specific on the things that you need to know more information around. However, there are a couple of game-changing features here that I'm going to talk about as well. Okay, so the first one is audio overviews. We are all busy people, we're on the go. Oftentimes we'll get a report that's 30 pages long. Do I need to really research it, read through it? So this is going to allow you to transform all of the information that you just uploaded and grounded it on the notebook, and then turn it into a podcast. And you can download that podcast, you can take it on the go, you can listen to it on the train, in your commute, whatever you want. I actually listened to one podcast on the way here on a presentation that somebody gave yesterday I wasn't able to make. They sent me the slides. I put it in a notebook last night and listened on the way in. I'm going to play a video of what this sounds like, and there's one hidden feature here we just announced as well that you might be impressed by. Can you play that video?
You know that iconic image of Buzz Aldrin on the moon? Well, today we're going beyond just the familiar snapshots and diving deep into the personal experiences of the people who made those missions possible.
Yeah, it's really going behind the curtain of space exploration history. Looks like we have a caller. What's on your mind?
Hey, tell me a little more about John Glenn.
Great question. John Glenn, of course, was a monumental figure. He was the first American to orbit the Earth, a true pioneer. But the oral histories...
Okay, that's pretty cool, right? So what just happened there? So I uploaded a website on this particular topic. It created a podcast for me to listen to. Now, the challenge with the podcast is it's one-directional, right? But what if I got stuck or I didn't understand the concept? I can now pause, ask a question, and the generative AI podcasters will reroute and answer that question and then engage in a dialogue with me. So very, very powerful. Again, I know all your students are busy, they're on the go. This is a great resource to allow them to learn. Okay, but what if we said, actually, we want to give you a tool as well to allow you to get massive amount of information out in bite-sized videos. So we launched video overviews in Notebook. So you've taken that same presentation, maybe I don't want a podcast, I want an instructional video on this, because people are just more visual learners. So play this video and you can see what's generated here off of the presentation.
Okay,
let's dive into the wild world of surrealism. What better way to kick things off than with Salvador Dali's Illumined Pleasures from 1929? And check out this piece from Rene Magritte. Okay, so to really get where surrealism came from, let's hit the highlights on a quick timeline.
Yeah, so that's a video overview of the notebook, and hopefully you can see how that might be useful. Again, if you have curriculum that you want to upload, you can create a really quick video in under 10 seconds and then share that out as well. Again, all these tools are available to you in our best model at no cost.
Okay, let's dive into...
Okay, no more diving in. The last feature that I find really helpful, I'm more of a visual learner. When you put all this data in, it's hard to understand connections, really help understand how things are linked, and then go down in a particular area that you're not sure I need more clarity on. So within Notebook LM, again, depending on the topic, this is very useful to really just create a mind map, and you can see the connection points, and then also go down a little bit deeper, and it takes you right back to the source that you've uploaded. So I mentioned earlier, we're very cognizant that you are also using Canvas, to deploy lesson plans through your learning management system. And we do not want to make this complex for you. We know how many tools you have, how many things you got to log into. I can't remember my passwords and all that. So we are doing an integration directly into Canvas. So you will have, so you can do all these assignments and use these tools within Canvas of Notebook LM and Gemini. So that's exciting news as well. We want to make this as easy as possible for you. So we look at three personas in the education context. There's the educators, students, and administrators. We have a lot of resources here that we'll hopefully give you throughout the day and tomorrow. But here's a couple of examples of how we're seeing these personas really kind of start to use this technology. The concept here, let's be clear, we want personalized learning experiences, and we want to give more time back in your day. That's what we're all about. So we're really focused on these customer user journeys across these personas. We also love feedback, so if you feel like there are things we can be doing better, please let us know. Okay, I mentioned also, it just doesn't talk about, or we just didn't do a partnership just around the technology. Professional development is super important. And so we have two programs that you can come see us about. These are also available to you, both yourself and students at no cost. It's the AI Educator Accelerator Program. You're going to be able to join over 200 public universities and get access into an accelerator program that really gives you the necessary skills to be successful in this kind of generative AI future. And then finally, we have a career certificate program, which is typically a cost to be able to get one of these certifications. A couple of areas that we really focus on is AI essentials and prompting, but then we go deeper if you want to go into a specific skill set. These are all with AI infused, so you have things like cyber, UX design, IT support, digital marketing. And these certificates typically take about 3 to 6 months. These are going to be offered out to your students as well at no cost. Yeah. And I can tell you, a lot of global multinational corporations actually value and look for these certifications. So again, we're really excited around making sure we're showing up with a full package of both technology, but also professional development. We're really excited about this partnership. We don't believe this is the starting line, finish line. This is just the starting line. We're going to do more work here. Okay, so I shared a lot. Let's talk a little bit. Maybe everybody get out their phone, snap that QR code. Here's where you can find all this information. We'll also be in the, I guess the breakout where you'll be able to come and visit us. We'll talk about how we can help you get started. Again, we really are excited about this partnership. Not only does it give us the opportunity to really have impact on a lot of people in their daily lives, but also really driving the equity that we think is very important in this moment. Thank you very much, and we'll see you this afternoon.
He's just doing
Don's
He's just doing video.
AI twin.
Yeah. Be careful. The speakers in the middle. I can see like.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to give a special shout out and thank you to Brian and the Google team. As we've been trying to explore bringing these resources to the system, Google showed up first and said absolutely. We will provide these resources to the California Community College students, faculty, and staff for free. So thank you, Brian. I also want to address probably what is the question in the room. We've talked about NVIDIA, we've talked about the MOUs with Microsoft, Adobe, IBM. I know I'm missing one, so I'm going to come back. Nope, that's not it. It'll come in a moment. So, but we have put together a small team that's going to be working on, through our digital center, we call our IT Workforce Initiatives team. So it's going to be led by faculty in the system, Sanjay Doriage, Angel Fuentes, Dan Montoya, Jeff DeAndrea, who's a regional director in the Bay region, and Olivia Horford. They're going to be unpacking these MOUs and putting together a strategic rollout framework for the next 3 years. So we'll get resources into your hands in a predictable manner. Some of them will show up, in a week or two. You have time, a short window to roll it out. But we want to make sure that we are giving you these tools in a way that allow you to deploy them across your colleges. And we'll do that in partnership with our regional consortia as well as our founding partners for the digital center. So I just want to let you know that that's in play. So I want to now take an opportunity to introduce our next panel. So we want to welcome you to this pivotal gathering at the Future Summit. And I have the pleasure of bringing up the facilitator, who's a very dear friend and colleague, Dr. Meredith Lee, who is the Chief Technology Advisor and Head of Strategic Partnerships at UC Berkeley's College for Computing, Data Science, and Society, which is a really key component of the name of that college. The first college at UC Berkeley in over 50 years. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Dr. Lee and have her introduce our esteemed panelists who will be talking about our partnerships with our state leadership. Dr. Lee?
Hello, everyone. It is fantastic to be here for the second edition of the Future Summit. As Don mentioned, I'm Meredith, and we have a treat for you with this opening panel. I'd love to welcome to the stage first Secretary Stuart Knox, who is the Secretary of the California Labor and Workforce Development Agency. Welcome, Stuart. As well as our esteemed panelist, Dr. Julianne McCall. Julianne is the CEO of the California Council on Science and Technology. I will refer you all to the online bios on the Summit website so you can learn all about their illustrious careers. But I will add something that is not on the standard bios. They are both just absolute joys to work with and assets for our state and beyond. So I'm thrilled to be here on stage with them today. So let's get started. Secretary Knox, you have been working for nearly 3 decades in the state in workforce and economic development. No one can tell. No one can tell. You look great. You were appointed Secretary of Labor and Workforce. We were actually talking about this backstage. We can, meet afterwards, share all sorts of interesting stuff. Ways to look young, Stuart. Okay. I know this audience also appreciates that, like I said, I told Sonya, this is the hippest conference that I ever get to go to. You guys are on it. This audience also appreciates your prior leadership role as Senior VP of Calbright Community College. So it's only appropriate that you should do some table setting about this opportunity for California leadership and for AI in California community colleges. So nowadays, what excites you about California's approach to harnessing the benefits of AI?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. What I was saying to Meredith was that I'm only 5 months younger than the governor, and I look so much older. So that was my comment. 31 years. I started my career at a community college, really. For 7 years, worked for UBA Community College, and so was their workforce and economic development director for many years. Excites me about this is, we had a conversation about this earlier in the week, was really about this transition is like no other we've seen before. And I think getting ahead of it is going to be the most important thing we can do. Being as the age I am, I saw when email came in, computers for the first time when we were utilizing computers. And just those type of interactions that change the way society works today. I also will say it's like now we work 24/7 versus the way we used to. We have to call in to get our voicemails, if you're old enough to remember that. And now, we're tied to our cell phones, we're tied to technology. The use of AI, I think, will have the impacts that will hopefully, with the right interventions from the public side of the house, but with our partners in the private side as well, ease some of that workload. But to do this right, we're going to really have to be thoughtful about the way we think about this for the future. And I think that's what our role at the Labor Agency is, really thinking about how unions will interact with our government side of the house. Amy couldn't be here today, but really when she was the Secretary of Government Operations, which housed Cal HR, really being thoughtful about how we interact with the human side of this. How do we build trainings, develop strategies and skills for people? There will be job losses, we'll talk about that, and so I think really being thoughtful about the next steps excites me. I feel like this governor, like no other, he's the tech governor, as we know. And, when we came in, I did work for the Brown administration too, we didn't have a lot of new tech in the state of California. This governor has pushed us towards technology like no other governor, which is great. We need to do that. I think the next steps for us is to really harness working with private and public sector and really being thoughtful about how this is going to impact society for the future.
Absolutely. Yes, well deserved.
For those of you who don't know, the California Council on Science and Technology has been around for nearly 40 years as more or less a science advisory to California state government. It was created by the California legislature by a unanimous vote to establish something similar to the National Research Council within the National Academy of Sciences in Washington, D.C. And what that looks like is expert briefings, reports, workshops that gather, cross-sectoral partners to really drill down to the essence of these most complicated topics. And so, of course, AI has become one of our strongest pillars within our portfolio. And what excites me about the emergence and, my goodness, the rapid pace of advancing AI is the opportunity to address disparities head on. We are seeing K-12 education systems take it upon themselves to develop tailored tutors for students, these charter schools, public schools, private schools, that are not requiring standards, for student achievement in order to be accepted. They are meeting them where they are. And while there is always going to be, that balance of risk and potential benefit, that benefit is extraordinary, especially coming from the healthcare field. The opportunity for people to not do what I did and sit in front of a microscope for 80 hours a week, in a dark room, listening to fabulous books on tape, but nevertheless, tracing just these, tiniest little neuronal projections, that can be done in 5 minutes what took me 80 hours. And that thrills me to no end. So I could go on, but I know that we have a very short time here, so I'm happy to pass it back.
Well, that's a challenge. Either one of these folks could talk for a full 30 minutes and you would leave with so much wisdom, but we're kind of going to accelerate it here. Definitely encourage everyone to connect with them in the break, though. To build off of what you mentioned, Julianne, in addition to recognizing the huge potential benefits of AI, I spent many hours as a grad student in a dark, windowless basement as well. But in addition to the benefits for discovery and efficiencies and so forth, there are a number of concerns that have been raised. Some were mentioned earlier this morning. Secretary Knox, how do you see AI transforming California's workforce for the better, for concern potential? Are there specific issues or challenges that are at top of mind for you right now?
Yeah, so many. The one thing I was reading an article a couple of weeks ago about just, you know, the transformation that's going to take place, already is taking place with AI. And I was thinking about this in a way that running these systems for over 30 years now, we're trying to use a system that is 60 plus years old in workforce development that is an antique compared to where we are moving to in the 21st century. And so I think we have to really be thoughtful about our current systems and structures and really be thoughtful about this. The governor's taken on several initiatives, as you know. I'll talk a little bit more about Jobs First later, but the one that really comes to mind is you know, the way that we're looking at education connecting to the workforce. For the first time, the Secretary of Labor is added to the council that actually is going to oversee this for the future. Once we see the bill pass, probably sooner or later here. And so we have a system that has worked not really that well together, to be honest. And I've worked in both systems. I've worked in the community college system and the workforce development system, for which I oversee for the state with 45 local workforce boards. Our systems are antiquated. I will say that. And so how do we start to mobilize our resources towards this is going to be the only way we're going to get ourselves around this. Education and training is going to be lifelong. It has to be lifelong. We've talked about this forever. Cradle to Career is a good example of what the work that we're doing. Using data from all of our systems is going to be collected into one large database, so we can actually understand better what our students' our outcomes are on both sides of the house. So for me, it's really rethinking the way that we have our workforce system integrated into the community college system, into our K-12 system, and our UCs and our state universities. For the first time ever, we have long conversations with the CSUs and the UCs. Workforce never had those conversations in the past. Our system was seen as mostly a social service type wraparound. It still is in some ways, but I think we have to stop thinking of it that way and really see it as an educational component of what all of the work that you guys all do. And so I think that for us is going to be what is going to move us forward for the next, under AI specifically, but I think this is really the push that's going to happen.
And thank you for mentioning the California Cradle to Career data system. For anybody who isn't familiar with it, definitely recommend checking it out. I've had the honor to serve on the governing board for that since the very beginning, and I often sit right next to the California Community Colleges representative and the Labor and Workforce Development Agency designee, so I get to see from day to day all of the work being put in. You recently announced the largest data system, or we collectively recently announced the largest data system expansion to date. Could you say a little bit more about how, as secretary of the agency, you're leveraging data in your decision-making and planning?
Yeah. And I think a lot of you know this, it is so difficult to get information from us. And we have the base wage file under EDD, and so really to get that information into one location that can be utilized in a different way is going to be just life-changing for the system as a whole. So we've just recently, Abby's here somewhere, there she is, who works on my team, has been just really the one helped issue a letter basically to the commission around this and to be able to cradle to career on my behalf. And that really, I mean, we had attorneys, I think, pour over that for days and probably weeks to try to make that happen. So, I think a lot of you know, government doesn't happen quickly. But this governor in 2019, one of his first initiatives was to develop basically cradle to career. And in that initiative was that we would give up data. Forget all of the legal issues behind it, figure those out. And if it got to a point where that wasn't going to happen, I was the undersecretary at the time, it was the undersecretary's role was to basically sign off and make it happen. Regardless of what the department had said, regardless of what everybody was saying, it would happen that way. Luckily for us, it didn't come to that. I thought when I was the undersecretary, that is going to be one of the first things I'm going to have to sign off on is getting the data released. But we have a great EDD director now, and she basically is like, yeah, this makes total sense. I don't understand why we've held all this data for years. All that said is, all of that in one place is actually going to make such a world of difference for us practitioners, and I was a practitioner, out there to be able to see what those outcomes really look like for our students, and what is the trajectory for skill sets also, like career pathways. How do we start to develop career pathways in a different way that we've never done before? And so, but without this data in one centralized location, we just never really knew. From the community colleges to the UCs and the state universities, our systems collect all of it, but we only see 60 to 100,000 people a year. So we had very finite information. With this database, we are going to start to see the breadth of what we can do in California.
And it's incredibly powerful. I love the clapping for data systems, got you. And also the intersegmental power of going across community colleges, UCs, CSUs. That's one of my great day-to-day joys is working with collaborators across those systems. I know, Julianne, that's part of your day-to-day at CCST, bridging from academic institutions to national labs. And since we're here at the California Community Colleges Future Summit, the California community colleges are, of course, the largest system of public higher ed in the country, 2.1 million. If that isn't ingrained in your brain, it will be by the end of this summit. 2.1 million students. That is amazing scale. So let's talk about designing for scale and positive impact. Any tips for the audience, Julianne?
It's comforting how seriously the legislature and the executive branch are taking the challenges and opportunities of AI from the ground, right? When we are convening our partner institutions, including the community colleges, when we are convening organized labor and industry and executive branch and legislative representatives, to be able to come together, right, and appreciate what the goal is, and then have an honest conversation about what are the pathways to get there. There is, just a multimodal approach that is crucially required for us to get there, and that includes workforce development. For 17 years now, the California Council on Science and Technology has been hosting a fellowship program that brings in up to, currently, 15 PhD level scientists and engineers, trains them for a 5-week intensive boot camp, more or less, in how to write legislation, how to negotiate amendments, how to work with lobbyists and advocates, et cetera, and then deploys them as science policy advisors in training for the remainder of a year. We have now 186 scientists and engineers trained up. Some of them are leading state agencies, and we could not be more proud. But to see them, especially in the legislative branch, right, take on those roles of policy, analysts extraordinaire, where they see these tools, like generative AI is providing now, and embedding it into their regular processes. California legislative processes are already so much more transparent than practically any other legislative process in the country, especially Congress, where all of the bill analyses conducted by the experts within our policy committees publish those publicly. Cal Matters, a nonprofit media outlet, has created the Digital Democracy platform, where you can even search for keywords that have come up in legislative hearings right? The transcripts of the audio for each of those hearings is now freely available and wonderfully searchable. So in terms of the scalability and the design, right, to embed scientists and engineers, right, scientifically trained individuals who appreciate, right, what Carl Sagan called the baloney detector test, right, to assess that spectrum of evidence, right, from anecdotes, which are legitimate evidence, but in comparison to a 4,000-page consensus report that took 10 years and tens of thousands of scientists' input, right, those are not equal. And shouldn't be equal, even in the realm of policy. So we are so excited to be one of those entities providing those venues for convenings, providing those tools and reports to take us to that next level and allow the government to move forward with all the courage they can.
I love that you mentioned courage, as was mentioned in the opening remarks. It's certainly a word that many of us we have written on our whiteboards day to day. And I think one of the things that I've noticed, this is only the second Future Summit, but during the first one and so far, everybody that I've met here is courageous, does not have any qualms about rising to challenges, and is trying to build the future, hence the title of this panel, for the betterment of our students. And so Secretary Knox, when you think from your perch in Sacramento about these students, the 2.1 million in the system, and how we might design for positive impact at scale, what are some of the themes that you're seeing?
Well, one positive theme is our Chancellor. I think just our working relationship with her and her team, we're pretty much embedded together, which I think is really unique in a way that we haven't seen in past administrations, nothing against the last administrations, but I was part of that. But we've really embedded with the Chancellor's office, and I think also with government operations and other entities, we really are starting to see themes where we've broken down the silos as much as we possibly can, and we're going further. One of the things when you keep saying the 2.1 million, I think in Sonya's head is thinking that should be 3 million. It's like, let's set a goal. You probably have one, I'm assuming, at this point. But we're really starting to look at populations that, and Abby's always in my ear about this, is populations that are just not served by us in the workforce world or through the community college system or higher education. We know there's a population of 500,000 plus people. Sonya talks about the 6.8 million that don't have education in the state of California. There's also the 500 plus thousand that we don't see in our base wage file. We don't see them in an education component. What are these folks doing? They're Uber drivers, Uber Eats, whatever that looks like, which isn't right. That's not enough for them right now. And so how do we actually do those outreach into those systems? Our systems do that outreach to these folks. How do we get them into our system? And I think that's one component that we're really struggling to do. We've released $40+ million the last couple of years to really focus on what we call Opportunity Youth, really connecting to our community college system so that we start to enroll people into this. We know with AI, skills and skills transition is going to happen. It is happening now. How do we bring these students or these folks in to become our students for the future? How do we bring them into this, and then lifelong learning be what we really embed within their minds for the future? That is the only way we're going to have poverty out of California, is to have education. And so I think that's one of the key.
We mentioned Secretary Tong, who unfortunately was not able to make it today, but I got a front row seat as well on a number of the Gen AI initiatives that were led by the Government Operations Agency in very close collaboration with the Office of Business and Economic Development, with your office, many other stakeholder groups. And what emerged across private sector and I think public sector was this newfound appreciation that particularly in the age of in the age of AI, no one group has all of the perspective, expertise, capacity needed, and we've talked about this a little bit backstage. We have to rethink how we are collaborating, whether that's embedded teams, whether it's building communities of practice. One of the great joys that we've had at UC Berkeley is being able to work with faculty. I see some familiar faces in the audience from the California community colleges and the administrations of those colleges in a community of practice around data science and AI education. And it's just amazing that you're able to get something like 27 now. My team just checked California community colleges that are using the interactive computing infrastructure to teach courses at community colleges with our students who are helping the faculty develop curriculum. There's a level of co-creation that I've never really seen before that is just super, super exciting. And I know that that's a model that CCST uses a lot. I have borrowed your team for many things, Julianne, to collaborate on all sorts of initiatives. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to share with this audience so that they bookmark it and know to stay tuned?
Thank you for the question. We were so excited to be able to launch an AI Legislative Academy for our California legislators and their staff. That starts in less than 1 month. It's being facilitated generously by the Omidyar Network with additional support from the Keeper Foundation, located right here in the Bay Area. It will consist of seminars, expert roundtables, site visits, right? There's just no replacement, right? For being in a place, for meeting the people behind the technology, right? For marveling at the, intricacies of these huge machines and infrastructure, right? As a response to the demand that we were hearing from our legislative partners, that with 32 out of the top 50 AI companies in the world are located here in California, right? It is a huge, a huge responsibility that our legislators, right, have taken on through their roles. In addition to, right, the turnover of over 50% of legislators within the last 2.5 years because of a term limit ballot initiative expiring. So we have our work cut out for us, but to be that kind of foundation of, right, the representatives of the facts and of the research world through our 12 institutional partners, including the community colleges, we're really thrilled to be able to represent that in addition to the more full context of the other stakeholders that are constantly in the hallways of our state capitol. And I have to say, there are other models of legislative training academies. There's a particular organization called Capital Impact, which has been providing programming for years. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, among others, funded an analysis of what made that legislative training program effective. And according to the participants, it was having the community perspective represented so much more fully than these communities are able to represent themselves in the halls of state capitals to counterbalance the other stakeholders. So we've committed to 2 years of this Legislative Academy and would love your thoughts, right, on what you are seeing, right, from the AI world with the policy aspect that you would suggest our incorporation. So, thank you.
Fantastic. And I love that you mentioned community engagement. I know in the Governor's State of the State address just this week, he gave a shout out to the Jobs First initiative. Stuart, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share a little bit on what's the trajectory ahead. And kudos for getting more than 10,000 experts and community members as part of the process for that initiative.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, the governor is very proud of this, which is great. Since Abby and I spent a long weekends actually writing that legislation back in 2021. So Jobs First was also an initiative kind of breaking down barriers and silos within state government. The original initiative was 3 state agencies, GoBiz, Labor Agency, and OPR. Collectively, $600 million goes out to 13 regions throughout the state of California. Whittled back to about $450 million 2 years ago when we kind of hit a little bit of a budget crunch. But generally, the governor talks about Jobs First is really the blueprint for the demand side. And so how do we really talk to business and learn what the demand is going to be for the future? And really start to understand an economic development role within this, but also with a workforce development lens. Second part to that, he calls it the three-legged stool, is the Master Plan in Career Education, which we launched a few weeks thereafter. And that was started with the K-16 collaborative dollars, which also utilized the same 13 regions. And so collectively with that three-legged stool, we've invested over $750 million within these 13 regions around education. So on the education side, obviously, we call that the supply side. And so really blending demand and supply together and really thinking about what career pathways are going to look like from the demand side. And so these heavy investments is the first time in the state of California we've done this. And so for us, it's just a great opportunity for the next administration with us weighing in at 15-ish months left. To really take a hold of that. We will obviously continue through the end of the administration with this initiative with a heavy focus on what are the next steps. Obviously, we see a key role for the community colleges, our CSUs, and our UC systems to really start to listen to the demand side. And AI is a great example of how fast things are going to change and are changing. And so with the MOUs that were signed with the governor recently here in San Francisco and previously with NVIDIA, that just shows how much he's into the business side of it. And so I think our opportunities with the community colleges and workforce is really figuring out how we get the supply side to really work well.
Fantastic. So I think we've heard loud and clear this morning that it's about both the technology and the people, the thoughtful and ambitious leaders who are centering students and humans in all of this work. And so I just want to thank everyone here who's seated for what you're doing every day. It matters. I know it's been a very challenging year. Has it been only a year since we last convened? We have some wisdom highlights from the last year. But thank you for what you're doing. And please join me in sharing applause for our wonderful panelists.
If you are exiting, I hope you're walking to our booth where we're giving free AI consulting services to 100 institutions across the United States. But if you're not exiting for that, I hope you stay for the next 4 minutes so I can actually explain why that's important and what we here at DataKind do with you and for you. So, hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Augustine. I'm the Vice President of Product and Programs at DataKind. DataKind is a global nonprofit organization focused on using data and AI for social impact. We've heard a couple of great panels and conversations this morning about AI and innovation and how that is so necessary for making the impact we hope to have on students across the United States. Now, here at DataKind, we believe that AI solutions are not just technical. They are co-created with institutions, and they must be transparent, inclusive, and co-created. And when we build solutions like that, we believe that they have a huge impact. And we are offering those services thanks to a generous philanthropic grant to work with 100 institutions across the United States, and we're hoping a number of you here in California to build out solutions that have an impact on your communities. Now, what does that mean? So when DataKind worked with a mid-size MSI in an urban setting a couple of years ago on their challenges around graduation, we helped them increase their graduation rate by 32%. Now, that wasn't magic. That was identifying the specific problem they had and not providing a generalized one model fits all solution. In their case, they started to realize that students who were seniors were exiting without a degree, but all of their student support mechanisms were for undergraduates. So we helped them build a model that would identify those students who were at risk of not graduating and identify what was causing that risk, what was the reason they were at risk of not graduating, and surface that information to their advising team. So rather than their advisors looking through sort of a needle in a haystack to figure out which student they should support at what time, they were able to use that information and make direct connections in a timely way with students to get them the support they needed then. Now, that type of approach relies on transparency. It relies on this co-created approach of understanding what does an institution need at this particular time, what insights do they need in order to build trust in that AI solution, and how will they implement it? How can this solution exist long-term and be sustainable and part of their existing workflows? And with DataKind, we do this. We partner with institutions for years at a time to build out these solutions in a way that makes sense for you. Now, I think I whet your appetite because the room got a lot quieter once I said free AI and co-creation. So I want to emphasize that. So we've had a lot of success building predictive analytics with institutions and alongside institutions. And our bias is that these solutions should be accessible to everyone, not just institutions who can pay, not just institutions who have partnerships with large tech entities. Every institution should have these tools to be able to make an impact. And as we go beyond just predictive analytics, we are also looking for partnerships on other parts of the AI sphere, because we believe it can be additive for impact in places like building up your data trust. Yes, predictive analytics is great, but if you don't trust the data that is behind those analytics, you will never actually use those predictive models. AI tools can help with the data quality assessments. It can help build the connections between data sets to be sure that you have the right data out. And it can be used to make sense of the information that you have in your system. Yes, predictive analytics are great. Where we're going now from that story I just told about being able to predict students at risk of non-graduation and give the intervention is actually to take that step further to say, what is the next action that a counselor should take with these students? So we're not just saying, here's the information, but here's how you use that information well. We're also in kind of an interesting conversation that I think many of you are in of how messy transcripts are, right? Those transcript documents, sometimes they're still just PDFs, sometimes they have a ton of free text that you're trying to interpret. We've been working with a number of partners across the US, including here in California, to make sense of transcripts and to figure out students who have earned all the credits for a degree, how do we give them a degree easily? So these are a couple of areas that we think are really promising for AI, and again, we're looking for partners to grow and to build the impact there. I think I'm just about at my 5 minutes, so again, I'm Caitlin Augustine, I'm from DataKind. We build and co-create AI solutions for social impact. We are supported to do this work at no cost to institutions, thanks to philanthropy, because our work is only impactful if it is useful to you. So please come by our booth and talk to us about this work.
Okay, we've got one last activity for you. You do not want to miss this piece. We have pushed back the panel breakout start session, so don't feel like you have to rush out to get to your breakout sessions. You absolutely do not want to miss this part. So we're thrilled to present AI, friend or foe. So I'd like to invite Dr. Greg Lambert to come out and introduce what will be our student skit.
Thank you all for dedicating some of your attention this morning to our faculty-student collaboration, AI, Friend or Foe. I'm Dr. Greg Langner, Professor of Communication and Media Studies at Antelope Valley College, in the far north rural region of Los Angeles County, where, thanks to my colleague, Dr. Norma Jones, and the concerted efforts of faculty, we have been at the forefront of equipping the Academy for a future of higher education enriched but invariably impacted by artificial intelligence. When a group of theater students lose their set design just before a class deadline, tensions rise. With time ticking and no backup plan, they take a big risk by turning to AI. Witness a surprising mix of chaos, creativity, and collaboration, challenging assumptions about teamwork and technology. So that's the official description, but here's what I'd like to add in short. This short one-act sketch illustrates students' relatively realistic use of AI in real-time relevance. In using AI to help us both structure and study our own collaboration process, we encountered at every stage very real, cinematic, very real ethical and artistic tensions which were in fact crucial for us to accept as part of the process. In the context of college, where we ask students to aspire to their own higher learning, we can ethically and effectively use such a profoundly disruptive tool to the extent we are willing to question and challenge ourselves first. Bless you. One hallmark of critical thinking is one's willingness to reason beyond the familiar and comfortable. Where and when appropriate for new technology to step in, we all have an opportune responsibility to expand our thinking, to find more room to grow as a learning community, and to get to ask of and witness more potential and greatness from the students whose learning we aspire to serve together. Friends and colleagues, AI, friend or foe.
Okay, everyone, you've been working on this all semester, so everyone, take a minute to revise and finalize your set designs before you start building. And don't forget, a photo of your final set builds will be due tonight on Canvas at 11:59. If you have any questions, be sure to check the syllabus for assignment details or let me know if you need any help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, guys, set building day.
Hey.
Taylor, can you pull up our designs, see what we got?
Yeah, I finished them last night. They're on my laptop. Let me get them. Oh, fuck. My computer won't turn on.
What? Let me try. Well, can't you just get it from your phone?
Yeah, no, it's only on my laptop.
You mean to tell me in 2025 you're not on the cloud?
Guys, our set designs are due tonight and no one has the design we worked on.
What about maybe we try and draw something up from memory?
How much do you remember?
How much? Or maybe we can use AI to help us out?
It's just going to spit out some generic design or something confusing and weird, and then we'll be at square one again.
No te preocupes. The assignment isn't about el diseño. The objective is to build set pieces based off of the script we chose.
Let's just see what it gives us. Try out some prompts. I don't know. Grand Castle. Space disco. Right? Neon lights. Boom.
Alex, please pull up the script. Jordan, stop wasting time. This isn't some interstellar Mamma Mia show. Focus.
Guys, I don't think we should do this. I really can't get in trouble for cheating. I graduate this semester.
Well, is it really cheating? I mean, what's the policy on using AI?
Huh?
Policy. Why are we worried about politics? Political science?
The policy.
Policy,
I mean,
right, I knew that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's ask. Hey, professor, what's our class AI policy?
It's in the syllabus.
Backpack, maybe? I don't know. I got
yeah, I don't know.
There we go.
Thank
Brainstorm.
Yeah, thanks. Ways to use AI, brainstorming. Oh, you cannot use AI-generated content as a replacement for appropriate research.
Great.
Yeah.
The assignment is to actually build the set. So AI isn't doing the work for us. We're good.
And you have
It's
like
a
this whole
tool. It's helping us.
group now.
Well, if the syllabus says it's okay. Cozy.
Dramatic.
Vintage set design.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
warm colors and antique
If you
props.
want to get something a little.
Cozy, dramatic, vintage set design with warm colors and antique
Yeah.
props.
But you're covered.
Oh.
Just kind of.
That's actually pretty close to what I had in mind.
Oh, and look, it suggests a deep red as part of the color scheme. Alex, does that work con tu visión?
Yeah, that works.
Can we add like an arch right here?
If we do, it'll need extra support. Maybe we can ask for some suggestions on how to make it more stable. It says reinforcing the base can help prevent the arch from breaking. And look, we've combined creativity and structure. It actually looks like a set.
What about adding a giant inflatable unicorn as
Okay,
Yeah.
well, not everything it says is genius, per se.
But at least it's got a sense of humor.
Look at that! You successfully reimagined your set design as a group with AI as your learning tool.
Yeah, it turns out AI can be a helpful resource after all.
I guess it's not as bad as I thought.
It's a lot like any other tool. Teamwork and tools. Not too shabby.
We're done.
Well, y'all still need to actually build your set.
The assignment.
Right.
Okay, a trabajar.
Right, let's get to work.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Yeah. Woo! Who think our students just won more? So our students showed us, so let me introduce our faculty. Our students are our faculty directors. First of all, Sarah DeLuna Solworth. Woo! Serena Dunmeyer. David Holmes. Paulina Riviera. And Ryan Solano. May I bring out our faculty directors? Yeah. All right, come on up. Carla Corona. And Dr. Greg Langer. So our students, in the skit, our students showed us how AI can be a helpful tool when used the right way. First, they checked it was okay. It's in the syllabus, right? And then they used it to ethically help guide their build. Interestingly, when we began the skit, one of our faculty directors, Carla, it's like, I'm not so much loving this AI process, right? But then she discovered how useful it can be. And now she's carrying that learning into the community. Sorry. As the president of the Board of Trustees for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. Together, this team illustrates the powerful partnership of all of our groups in college working together and branching that growth into our broader community. So, and also illustrating what's possible when we are open-minded to better serve our students. Ooh, sorry, asthma. So next, please allow me to say some thank yous. Thank you for having us here. Thank you to Don Daves-Rougeaux for not only visiting ABC, but inspiring us to push further our boundaries and imagining what's possible. Thank you. A huge thanks to the Chancellor's Office. Thank you for allowing this opportunity to share our work. Thank you so much. And thank you to the team here. I've got Anthony, Catherine, Charles, Jennifer, Travis, and so many others. Thank you for helping us put together this performance, supporting this performance as we came in here. Thank you. At ABC, special thanks to our president, Dr. Jennifer Zalett, for empowering us to find new and creative ways to better serve students. Thank you. Also at Antelope Valley College, special thanks to our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Kathy Bakit. She came up with this idea. Yeah! It is through our leadership, our executive leadership, that they're creating this wonderful collaborative environment that allows us to learn and thrive together. Thank you. Thank you to, again, our wonderful, wonderful faculty directors. Our equity advisor, Monica Escobar, couldn't join us. To our wonderful students, Sarah, Serena, David, Paulina, Ryan, thank you for your performance. Let me end by saying, as a campus, we have heard the Chancellor's call. She said to us, I remember at the online teaching conference, our time is now. In one voice at Antelope Valley College, we are ready. Thank you. And now, may I invite everyone to lunch? All right, let's go.